Hi guys, today we're going to be taking a look at the game Wild State. The object of this game is you're going to try to become the first player to win 3 general elections. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be spending money buying different types of cards to try to campaign in the different states and to try to win the majority of them. And there's a lot of back and forth battling going on while you're doing this. So let's take a look at it. Okay folks, here we go. We will go ahead and start with the game board. This is a map of the United States. Of course you have all the states here and they're going to be in different colors and I'll talk about why that is. Right over here you've got where places that you're going to be placing what are called officials, and throughout the game you're going to have the opportunity to sell the officials if you need to raise money. And of course if you do that you're going to end up getting the corruption token, which again I will talk about. Right over here you've got your money, and at the beginning you're going to give everybody $2,000. Right over here are the Super PAC cards, and there's several different ones, and there's going to be 3 states that are going to be represented on each of them. If you manage to get this card, you're going to be able to get this much money per turn, and each card has different amounts, and your opponent is going to have to pay this amount of money if they wish to campaign in a state that you have a Super PAC at. Right over here you've got 4 decks of cards. You've got the ads, you've got the contributions, you've got the endorsements, and then you have the debate cards. And as I had mentioned before, on each state you're going to have to buy the cards that each state represents if you wish to campaign there. Now you'll note one thing about the cards is that they have different values. The ads are cheapest at around, or they're going to be the cheapest, and the debate ones are going to be the most expensive, whereas the contribution and the endorsements are going to fall around in the middle somewhere, as you can see. And the bigger states are going to cost a lot more to campaign in, so you'll be buying more of those types of cards. Speaking of campaigning, each person is going to be receiving these campaign tokens. This is the Democrats. These are going to be the Republicans. And along with that, they're going to be receiving cubes and this little token that they're going to be placing on any states where they have a Super PAC. Also, if you wish, you can get the expansion set, and this is going to have the Green Party and the Libertarian Party, and this is going to be in green and yellow if you wish to get this. Right over here you've got the state cards. Anytime you end up getting to the general election, which is going to be placed in the middle of this deck, you're going to go ahead and stop the campaigning, and then you're going to go ahead and hand out the state cards to the people who have the most votes in those particular states. And whoever has the most is going to win the general election, and then you're going to go on to round 2. And in this game, the way you're going to win is if you end up winning 3 general elections. On top of this, you have what are called the corruption probe cards, and they're all going to be going here in this deck. If you end up drawing one of these, you're going to be able to use it on your opponent if he has the corruption pawn. And if he has a corruption pawn, you're going to be able to remove 2 cubes from one of his states. 2 votes, essentially. And again, these are going to go in here. Now, the general election card is going to go in the middle here of the contribution deck. So the way this game works is at the beginning, everyone's going to go ahead and roll this die over here, and whoever has the highest number is going to go ahead and start campaigning. So now let's just say my opponent decides he also wants to go ahead and he decides, okay, I'm going to go ahead and go to South Dakota. So he'll go ahead and draw the 4 cards that are represented from here. And this is going to be the amount of money that I'm going to have to pay to the bank. 20, then 50, then another 50, and then 150. So once I pay that to the bank, I'm going to go ahead and look at all these cards. Now, if the cards have stars on them, what you're going to do is you can trade these in and get another card from the same deck. Or if you have a card that has a negative amount of votes on there, you can try to cover it up. So you get 3 more of these cards and lay them out. And so he's got 2, and then 0, and then another TV ad. So let's just say once again he decides to replace it. Let's say he draws this and he gets 2 points. So he ends up getting 6 points. So now he will go ahead and put 6 cubes over here in South Dakota, and he'll also go ahead and put a cube over there on the Supreme Court side. So let's just say he decides he's going to go ahead and campaign again, and he decides he's going to go over here to North Dakota. Let's say he ends up winning 2 votes over there, and since he got the majority, he'll end up going to Minnesota. And let's just say he happened to have enough money to go to Minnesota, and he ended up getting the majority vote. Now, since he ended up getting 3 states here of the same color that are grouped together, he is going to receive one of these PAC cards, and let's see which one it is for North Dakota. And this is going to be the Workers' PAC. So what he's going to do is he's going to go ahead and put the Workers' PAC down on his side, and he will go ahead and place one of these pawns on here to represent that he's got it. So now he's going to be receiving $50 per turn, and anytime the opponent wants to go on there, he's going to play $500. Now, if the opponent ends up campaigning over there and getting the majority in one of these states and taking over it, then the player that had the Super PAC is going to lose it. Now let's just say that my opponent happened to have, the blue side happened to have this corruption pawn, and I ended up drawing one of these corruption probe cards. I go ahead and I can play it, and then since my opponent has it, I will be able to remove 2 votes from one of his states, so I'll be able to do something like that. Now, you're not going to be able to have more than 10 votes in one state, and you can actually go over. And if that's the case, what you're going to do is, if there are any, if you're the only person in the state that has the votes, you'll just get down to 10. If there are other people in the state, whoever has the least amount of votes is going to be taken out, and then you're going to go ahead and remove all that same amount of cubes. So if there was like a person had 2 cubes and another had 3 cubes, you would take out the 2 cubes, and then you would take out 2 cubes from everybody else as well in that case. So everybody's going to go ahead and take turns and keep campaigning, and whenever the general election card is bought, you're going to go ahead and look at all the states that everybody has the majority in, and you're going to go ahead and start passing out these state cards. Then you go ahead and add up the states, and whoever has the most amount of electoral votes at that time is going to go ahead and win that general election. And again, he has to win 3 general elections. After that, you're going to go ahead and continue playing the game, and until you get the general election card again, and you're going to do this until somebody ends up winning 3 general elections, and whoever does that first is going to win the game. And that, folks, is Wild State. So my final thoughts on Wild State. Well, there is a little subtext to this which says it's the game of the American power grab, and that certainly is indicative of this game. I like the corruption probe. That's a pretty funny little idea where you can sell judges and get corrupt, and then someone can play a corruption card on you and end up taking 2 of your votes out. A lot of this game is about watching your money. You can run out of money really fast, so you kind of got to be aware of that, because if you end up taking a turn and you run out of money, you're going to have to end your turn. It's a cool little game. I like it. I've always liked election games, and I think this one's a good one. There's some strategy involved. The components are pretty cool. And it's not a very hard game to learn either. You can pretty much get right into it when you start playing it. So, guys, if you like election games, give this one a try. It's a pretty cool game. I like it. It's, strategy, a lot of back and forth, and battling for states and everything. It certainly does feel like an American election. Okay, guys, that does it for me this time. We'll see you later. Keep on gaming.